Hello and welcome to the Policy Bazaar show. I'm your host Akshita Nandagopal. We're back after a brief break on our weekly insurance pit stop where we decode current trends with the help of experts. Now the COVID scare unfortunately isn't over yet, and with new waves of the pandemic affecting people across the country, it clearly mustn't be taken lightly. Health insurance plays an important role in the development of the healthcare ecosystem. Several key developments have also taken place since 2019. The regulator IRDAI has been updating the system and infrastructure to increase insurance penetration in the country, insurance buying across sectors, and also generating maximum awareness towards getting proper insurance. And that's what today's topic for the show is: demystifying COVID claims and health insurance 2021. Let me, without any further ado, go ahead and introduce our experts who are joining us on this broadcast. We have first Dr. Bhabatosh Mishra, who is the Director Underwriting of Products and Claims in Max Bupa Health Insurance. A quick brief about Dr. Mishra. He is an insurance industry veteran with almost 2 decades of experience across life, general and health insurance, out of which more than 17 years have been in the health insurance sector. Pleasure having you here with us on our show, Dr. Mishra.
Thank you very much, Akshita, and thank you for those kind words as well.
Well, absolute pleasure. We'll get to you in just a bit. I just want to introduce our second guest with us, our Policy Bazaar show veteran, regular Amit Chabra. I'm sure you've seen him with us many times. Health business head of PolicyBazaar.com. Amit has over 10 years of work experience across top-tier management consulting firms and high-growth startups in India as well as the United States. His key areas of expertise include corporate and business unit strategy, growth strategy, product strategy and innovation. Again, welcome to the show, Amit.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
So my first question is to both of you. The media is right now, of course, flooded with several reports that many insurers are not paying COVID-19 related claims completely and are only making about half or partial payments. How true is that? Dr. Mishra first.
Sure, if I may rephrase, in fact, we feel very happy when we pay a claim as a health insurance company because we believe that our primary business is that of paying claims. Now, there are several reasons that there for which the entire 100% of the claims do not get paid for. And let's look at some of the major reasons. When you look at any health insurance product, there is a list of items that are non-payable, referred to as a non-payable item list, which the regulator has, which applies in almost every product. And these are usually consumables. So when 100 rupees of a claim is made, part of that, which is those consumables, are not paid, which is in the range of, let's say, typically 8 to 10%. That is what insurers do not pay for, as per the policy provision itself. Then many people do not possibly understand it very well, but various policies have various features.
Yeah.
And so such features differ from product to product. Some products have features like co-payment, where a part of the claim has to be borne by the consumer. Of course, there is a premium advantage to that. Policies also have deductibles. Some of the products may have other restrictions or limitations of capping, like room rent, doctor charges, etc. So a combination of all of this goes into what percentage or what part of a claim is paid for. So it inherently depends on the product that the customer has chosen, as well as the non-payable item list of consumables which are inherently not paid for in any product of health insurance in the market.
Amit, what's your take on this?
Sure. See, I think there is this has become a misconception with a lot of customers. Whenever a claim gets denied, there has to be a very valid reason for it. It cannot be denied based on whims and fancies of anybody. Now, when a claim gets denied, it can get denied because of 2-3 reasons. One is it can get denied because it wasn't a legible claim, as Dr. Bhabatosh was also saying. Like, let's say if your policy does not cover for consumable items like PPE kits, masks, etc., which by the way, a lot of traditional policies do not cover, then in all of those scenarios, the consumable item amount will not be paid. So what we have seen in most cases is that while the claim payout has been as per the policy terms and conditions, what ends up happening is a lot of customers are not aware of what their policy is and what are the benefits that a policy has. Their customers don't really know what their policy contains. So I think for consumers, it's very important to understand what their policy contains, what is covered, what is not covered, in case there is a gap, like consumable items, for example. If it's not covered in a policy, one can migrate to a better policy where it's covered. But once and let me assure you this, once you have a policy which has none of such restrictions, then your claim amount will be paid, and it will be a truly cashless claim where nothing goes out of your pocket and everything will be paid by the insurance company directly to the hospital. So one can just go get treated and walk out of the hospital.
No, so there are clearly aspects here that many people don't understand. Let's try to educate them also on this. So Dr. Mishra, of the various components in a hospitalization bill, which part of the bills are insurance mostly denying to pay right now?
Well, it is not denying to pay, as Amit also mentioned. There has to be a very valid ground to what is not paid, and it has to meet the policy terms and conditions. Right? What we are witnessing right now is, and let me give you this example. With the peaking of COVID, there got created a massive panic as well. A lot of people rushed to hospitals believing they need admission, while Government of India, ICMR, All India Institute of Medical Sciences and so on already have in place very clear guidelines that if this happens, it's better to stay home and get treated. If this happens, you should get admitted. If the severity is such, you need ICU admission. Now, unfortunately, what happened, everybody who rushed to a hospital went there believing they need to get admitted. And in those scenarios, whenever hospital told someone that, hey, we don't have beds, whoever returned thinking that it is because there was no bed, we did not get admitted, ignoring the fact that first place, most of them perhaps did not even need admission. I can't peg a number to that, but that is also a reality. And when that happens, when we see, however, there are people who are in hospital and they do not meet the criteria, let's say of the government established criteria or the ICMR or the AIMS criteria, then we are constrained but to bring to notice that we are unfortunately not been able to pay the claim, because in this situation you should have been at home. The second aspect is health insurance companies are also custodians of public money. We collect perhaps money, small premiums from hundreds of people to pay some of them every year, right? So we do also have this responsibility of paying the right claim and managing people's funds better for them, because if not done well, then it is a waste of people's money at some level.
I think it's clear here the message is that the customers must go into the finer details of the insurance as well to ensure that they're fully aware of what will get paid and what not. But Dr. Mishra, you did mention how, many circumstances when patients go in and get hospitalized when they're not supposed to, it becomes a problem for an insurer. I also want you to break down for us in what all scenarios really can a health insurer actually deny a COVID-related claim that's been filed by a customer?
Sure. First of all, almost every product has a certain waiting period, whether it is 15 or 30 days for COVID. But if there is a hospitalization for COVID that happens within that waiting period, it is not admissible to the insurance company. The second one I mentioned is a lot of times people get admitted because of the scare and the panic associated with COVID, whereas they are simply absolutely stable and should have been at home. Those are the cases also. Some of them do not get admitted as a claim under those products. The third segment, and this is a little tricky one. In many products, what happens is people at the point of buying an insurance policy, they do not disclose all details that are required to the insurance company. And I'll give you a very bad example. I'll give you a terrible example maybe. Somebody had a very, very serious disease. At the point of buying, did not disclose this. And later there is a COVID claim, and a lot of people have this reaction that it is no way related to COVID. Why is my claim getting denied? The very fundamental is health insurance policies are also contracts, and it is incumbent on this absolute and truthful and complete disclosure of information. Somebody who had a cancer and was under treatment and took a policy without telling, it has a bearing on issuance of that policy itself, not about the claim. So had that information been made available, maybe insurer would have put a different term, maybe asked for a waiting period, maybe asked for a little loading, or maybe have denied, but not giving that information becomes a lot of issue. And my request that people should get aware and disclose every health related information very, very truthfully and completely.
So full disclosure, be transparent when you fill those forms also. Amit, on social media also, what I noticed is there's quite a bit of frustration when someone's, COVID-related claim is turned down. So say a customer files this kind of a claim and the insurer rejects or denies the claim for whatever reason. In such a scenario, are there options that a customer has on what to do next? Is there any, higher authority that he can approach for a valid reason or with regards to a claim rejection?
The first thing is you can approach the insurance company. So let's say if you have a Max Bupa policy in this case, one can approach the grievance cells at every insurance company, and you can basically request for a revalidation of your claim. And definitely what's very important is make sure that you provide all the supporting documents which support your claim basically. If that is provided, then typically what happens is insurance companies do look at the claim again and they revalidate, and in case there is a change in decision, that's done on a very, very immediate basis. That's point one. The second thing that can also be done is one can always write to the regulator. So in case, again, if one thinks that something wrong has been done to you in terms of your claim rejection, the regulator is always there. So there are email IDs, there are phone numbers on which one can write to or call and provide details of the claim. One can also go to the intermediary, let's say to Policy Bazaar or to the agent, from where you've got the policy, and they can also work with the insurance company on that.
Dr. Mishra, would you like to add to that, particularly from the perspective of the kind of redressal measures or grievance setups and mechanisms that are really put up in companies?
Yes, some of it Amit has already covered, but if I gave you a broad sense before getting into detail, is a rejection of a claim goes through multiple tiers before it ends up getting rejected. First of all, the regulator has a clear view. So companies like Max Bupa, we process claims in-house and do not work with the TPA for that purpose. But even when an insurance company works with the TPA, the regulator has clear guidelines. The rejection has to be done only by the insurance company, and TPA alone cannot reject a claim. So it needs the insurer's direct decision. Secondly, COVID specific goes through a small committee, highly empowered and senior committee within the insurance company if a COVID claim is to be denied. So that's the second tier. In general, all claims whichever are denied, customer can represent with additional information, or a review of the claim can be requested directly to the insurance company.
Okay.
Can reach the grievance cell in the insurance company. Still not satisfied, can approach the ombudsman. The list is circulated with every policy as a mandate from the regulator. Not satisfied with ombudsman, can approach legal forums like consumer forum or the courts as well. So there are multiple tiers of redressal mechanism that has been available to consumers to address their issues if they have any with claims.
Amit, when we were looking into the subject and the kind of problems that people had, what we've also noticed here is that many people are developing post-COVID related complications and also complications in some cases post-hospitalization. As per the insurance rules, an insurer covers you for 30 days post-hospitalization. And a lot of questions come up then on how is the customer really paid for such expenses?
Sure. So let me break it down into two. So one, if there is a post-COVID complication which needs hospitalization, like for example, we're saying mucormycosis or black fungus, a lot of cases over there. If one needs hospitalization, then there is no questions asked. It is covered. It is practically covered like a new illness because okay, COVID happened, you got hospitalized, you returned to home. Now, if you're getting any other complication, it is covered as is. There is no question, there's no exclusion there at all. It is covered like a new illness altogether. And it will be covered by your health insurance policy. So that's point one. In case you had COVID, you were hospitalized and you came back home, and after that there have been some side effects, some complications, and you are not hospitalized, then in that case, typically almost every health insurance policy has a pre and post hospitalization clause, which I think, Akshita, you were referring to the 30-day thing.
Yeah.
So in most health insurance policies now, this 30 days has increased. So typically varies from 30 days to as big as 180 days as well, as large as 180. So even if somebody develops some bit of complications that are not hospitalized, even up to 6 months, any complication, any medication that's needed, any consultation that you're doing, which arised as a result of the COVID hospitalization, that is covered by the health insurance policy. But again, very important to know, every health insurance policy has a different limit to it.
I think it's very clear from my conversation so far with both Dr. Mishra and Amit is that insurance policies also have evolved. They're being tweaked to deal with this pandemic and address concerns of the people. And what's also very, very important is awareness. It's being a very insightful discussion, and it's time for me to slip into a very short break. Do stay tuned. A number of other issues also that I'll be bringing up. We'll be right back on the Policy Bazaar show. Welcome back to the Policy Bazaar show. We're currently discussing the issue of demystifying COVID claims and Health Insurance 2021. Again, I'd like to introduce Dr. Babatosh Mishra from Max Bupa Health Insurance and Amit Chabra from Policy Bazaar. So we brought up a number of issues, particularly that customers had raised with regards to health insurance. I'd like to continue this discussion by asking you, Amit, is home care treatment for COVID-19 covered under a regular health insurance plan? And what are the things that a customer really must keep in mind before filing a claim request in these circumstances?
Sure. A very, very important question, I think, specifically in the current circumstances where people needed hospitalization, but they could not get a bed in a hospital. So that, I think, that's very real. You know, nobody had ever that a situation like this could emerge, but sadly it is there. So there is a benefit in almost every good comprehensive policy called domiciliary hospitalization, which basically means hospitalization at home. So one has to think of it like this. You needed hospitalization, but you could not get a bed in the hospital because of either because a bed wasn't available, which is the scenario right now, or because for some reason the patient could not travel to a hospital. You know, could be because of physically being disabled or any other reason. In both these scenarios, a person can be treated at home. Now, this feature is available in almost all of the comprehensive policies. However, there is a very important catch here specific to COVID. So a lot of insurance companies, or I would rather say some insurance companies, put an exclusion clause which says that upper respiratory tract infections are not covered for domiciliary hospitalization. And unfortunately, COVID is an upper respiratory tract infection. So there are some companies, and so Max Bupa, for example, Care Health, HDFC Ergo, ICICI Lombard, these are some of the companies which do cover for COVID for domiciliary hospitalization as well. Some don't. So I think that is one factor, again, as I said, right? Awareness is important. So if you already have a policy, do check if COVID is covered or not. If you don't, then buy one which covers it. That's point one. Now, what is covered in the home care treatment? So it's practically like hospitalization. So the cost of medication, the cost of treatment, the cost of a doctor coming and visiting you, the cost of an oxygen cylinder, all of those costs which would have been covered normally in a hospitalization are covered in case of home care as well. So everything else remains exactly the same, but yes, it's covered at home as well. It's obviously going to be a reimbursement kind of a process for claiming hospitalization at home. But yes, so again, very important for customers, one note here, very important for customers to keep a track of all the expenses that they're doing, all the bills, etc. And definitely, as I said earlier, validate with your insurance company ahead of claiming that this is what I can claim and this is covered in my policy or not. So that in case there is a mismatch, it beforehand.
Okay, I'm running out of time, but just a couple of questions. Amit, last year, this time, people bought health insurance in elevated numbers because there was a pandemic. Everyone was very, very scared about the kind of expenses you incur if you test positive. All those policies at about this time are due for renewal in the next few weeks or so. So what would your suggestion be to customers, the issues and points that they must keep in mind when they renew their policies now?
Sure. I think the world has really changed from where we were last year to where we are now. So I think two things, or rather three things that one needs to definitely keep in mind. One, you must try and ensure that your policy covers for consumable items like PPE kits. It's become a large part of your bill, so of the hospital bill. So it's important to make sure that you have that coverage. The second thing is coverage for hospitalization at home or domiciliary treatment, the one that we just discussed. Again, it became very real when COVID had struck us. So again, try and get into a plan if you're already not there, which covers for hospitalization at home also, because it is very real. It may happen in the future in case of third wave comes in where hospitals will be scarce. So you would want to get treated at home and get it covered in your health insurance policy.
Yeah.
The third thing, and probably the most important of the lot, is to make sure that you have adequate sum insured coverage. This is something that we can't emphasize enough on.
Very, very interesting point. Dr. Mishra, there are still some people who haven't invested or bought a health insurance cover yet. If I was one of those people, what would your suggestion be to me?
The suggestion is simple. It is one of the most powerful tools of risk mitigation, protects self and family against unforeseen healthcare needs, healthcare events, and this is essential now. Health insurance is no more an item that I would like to have. I think it is important, but let me think about it after 5 years or when I turn 45. It's right here and right now. It's a part of one of the essential things we must have. And I would add to what Amit said also, apart from all of this, see, in India we have a problem of low penetration to start with and under insurance as well. So we don't take adequate coverage. That's important to keep in mind. And if you already have insurance, please make sure you renew on or before time. This is not a time when you should wait for 7 days, 15 days after expiry to get renew the policy. A disease like COVID can strike any time. It is better that you stay insured throughout without any gap at all.
Okay, so don't procrastinate, do it immediately, do it at the earliest. Amit, same question to you. If I was someone who was looking to buy health insurance cover, what are the points I look out for? What do I keep in mind?
I think the first most important thing, which I'll mention along with what Dr. Babatosh just said, very, very important to to know what you are buying, because see, health insurance is complex. Let's face it, it is a complex purchase. So I think very important to make a very informed decision on which insurance product you are buying. I think can't stress enough on that. That's I think part one. Second, as you know, as we had discussed earlier, very important to declare everything when you are buying your insurance policy. It could be something as minor as a small fracture that happened to something as major as somebody having diabetes or hypertension or even cancer. If you don't disclose it, the insurance company has all the right to cancel the policy. It's a contract, so insurance company will have all the right to cancel the policy, reject the claim. But very important to understand, if you disclose everything truthfully, then insurance company cannot deny a claim. That is very, very critical. We say it often. One has to give a reason to the insurance company to cancel a claim, otherwise they just cannot reject a claim. So I think disclosing everything truthfully and knowing what you are buying, I think these are two most important things if you're looking to buy a health insurance policy right now.
Right. So this has been a very, very informative, insightful discussion. It's helped customers know what to watch out for, how to know their rights, how to also ensure they do their bit in being fully informed as well about their health insurance cover. Thank you so much, Amit and Dr. Babatosh Mishra, for joining us today. It was a pleasure having both of you on the show. That's all we have time for in this edition. Keep watching the Policy Bazaar show every weekend for more such conversations. Thank you for watching.